Human beings are storytellers by nature. Think about it. You come home from work, you want to tell your spouse what happened, that thing that happened with your boss that day, or you call up your mom to tell her about the grocery store incident, or you sit on the edge of your child's bed to tell them for the 4,000th time the story of Goldilocks and the three bears. We're storytelling animals. And then we all have those stories that we tell over and over again from our own lives, the stories about ourselves. And those stories especially tend to create a larger narrative about ourselves. They shape us. They tell us who we are. What if we started learning Bible stories by heart so that we could communicate them over and over and over again, such that they would also tell us who we are? That they would not just tell us who we are, but remind us whose we are. Remember that story from Luke where two disciples are walking on the road to Emmaus. They are deeply, deeply grieving. And they're wondering what is next for them, because they were following Jesus and now Jesus has been crucified and they don't know where they're going beyond Emmaus. And right there, Jesus appears to them. Now, they don't know it's him, but he says what's going on, and they tell him about all these things, it says. And what does he do? He tells them the story. It says, starting with Moses and then continuing with the prophets, he tells them the story about the people of God, reminding them, of course, that they are the people of God. And then later, after he breaks bread and their eyes are opened and they see that it is indeed Jesus standing in their midst, they say to one another, were not our hearts burning within us when he was opening up the scripture to us? What if everyone in your context learned the stories of God such that they could tell them? Would not our hearts be set on fire as we remembered who we are and whose we are? How do you communicate God's story to God's people in your church? I'm Casey FitzGerald, pastor in Northern Virginia and storyteller. You can hear more stories at storydivine.com.